All right. So, big shout out to PPA for trying to get something right. Nothing's perfect. It is what it is. But, they announced the progressive draw a few weeks back. But this is one of the first big events where they're actually going to put it in play and see how it plays out. And so traditionally, if you don't know much about pickleball, a normal format is typically on Thursday, they'll play singles, and you pretty much play every single match until you figure out who are the final two. And that can be a lot of matches in one day. Just that's the reality of just pickleball. And then on Friday, you typically have the men and women's pickleball doubles, and you play all of those games, and you may start at 9 a.m. in the morning, and your final game may not be until like 7 p.m. that night. And then if you're playing mixed doubles on Saturday, you got to turn around and go through that same long structure on a Saturday. And then after all of that, especially if you're a triple crown person like Anna Lee or Ben Johns, where you're dominating all three sports, well, divisions, you got to turn around on Sunday and play three championship games. And so it could take a toll on the athlete, the viewers as well, because you're sitting around trying to wait to see when does so and so play. Let me check back on YouTube. Let me go over here to Amazon. Can I check on Facebook? It was so much. So the PPA came up with a progressive draw, which I think is pretty cool. So in a nutshell, you have the play-in individuals that the tournament has come to their town, and you're like, hey, man, I want to go pro. I'm going to hop into this, see if I can make it into the big bracket. And so they have the play-in on Tuesday where you have 64 players pretty much in that bracket, and X amount of players play that day, only singles. They play that one game. They don't have to stick around all day to play multiple games to try to earn their position into the round of 32 or beyond. They play one game, and then on Wednesday, they have the round of 32. And with that, on that Wednesday, you have one game to prove yourself to make it to the Sweet 16, which would be the following day. Then on Thursday, the Sweet 16, you play one more game. And then you end up on a Friday where you have the quarters. You win the quarters, you make it to Saturday, you get the semis, and then back to championship Sunday. So instead of you having to grind it out all in one day, they spread it out on multiple days. And not only is it just the singles, the gender doubles and the mixed doubles has the same format. So just say the round of 32 on a Wednesday, say you're Ben Johns and you're Anna Lee Waters and you're participating in all three divisions. You only have to play 3 games that day, which is awesome. You'll play your singles match, you'll play your genders match, and then you'll also play the mix. You play that one game, and then you move on to the next day. And then there's 3 more games. So instead of that being so taxing on your body, trying to grind out for just one event, you have your 3 events, and a lot of people only play singles, or they may just play only doubles. So for them, they only got to play one game, and they play that one game, move on to the next day, and then just continue. But a little pushback is singles, genders, and the mixed doubles. They're 3 different games. So to be able to change gears to that different format could be challenging, but it all depends on the player. It is what it is. So that's the only thing. That's the only thing that I've seen that was some pushback. But yeah, man, progressive draw, bro.
Let me ask you a question, Coach, just to kind of bring our viewers in. I know I read a couple of weeks ago, and I think it was a comment by Tyson McGuffin, from not, or maybe not, but I think it was. So basically, with the changes, previously how these tournaments were ran, I think the biggest complaint that I was hearing that we're not getting fresh play, we're not getting fresh bodies as they get into their second and third event because they're back to back to back. So by time they're getting to particular events, they're burnt out
Mm-hmm.
from playing all of these single matches, all of these mixed doubles matches, and now trying to do all of these double matches. So once they get into halfway in their second event and then into their third event, their bodies are just fatigued. So we're not seeing high quality play because the guys are just tired worn out, beat up. So is that the basis of the changes that's being made?
That's part of it.
Okay.
And you hit it on the head. Like obviously they're young, and they're pretty fit for the most part, but it's still taxing. That we're human, enough game. We all play pickleball. You can go out there and play 3-4 hours, and we're not even talking about at a high level, but you're playing 3-4 hours, and yes, you're good for those 3 to 4 hours, but the aftermath always kicks in. And so for these athletes playing at the highest level, it's taxing on the body. So that was one of the premises for, this progressive draw. But also, I think it was also just for viewers, and of course, from a business standpoint, you're going to try to include that, yes, it's partly for viewers. But it makes sense too, because from a business standpoint, they are choosing what network or broadcaster that they want to partner with. For instance, YouTube, or even Amazon. Like that's a check for the PPA when their product, or even ESPN, or Fox TV, now they're looking more professional by having a draw that has a schedule completely lined out. So people know exactly where to go view it. They know who's going to play, what time they're going to play, so they can work that schedule around their schedule. So I think it's multiple reasons, but from a PPA standpoint, it makes a lot of sense. And I'm talking about dollars.
Dollars. If it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. But I from going back to my point, I see and understand the complaint from the players on how it was set up. I think it's no different than like the NBA with load management. I think it's similar to the NFL, teams complaining about short turnarounds if they're playing on a Sunday and then they're scheduled to turn around to that Thursday night football game, which is all about money, right? More games, more money, more viewership. But at the same time, what we're neglecting is the wear and tear on these guys' bodies, turning around what 3 days and
Right.
playing in a full contact sport, and you just wearing your athletes out. So I think this new format kind of helps with that, and keeping these guys fresh, which also would be more appealing to people watching the matches. That these guys have their energy, they have their legs under them, and they're ready to go. So I think it's a combination of better business, but
Yeah.
also nurturing these athletes and trying to get the best product that we can on this